This episode contains material that may be triggering to some individuals. Please check the show notes for more information and be mindful of your own mental health and comfort levels. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? Maybe you have a unique experience you'd like to share as a guest. Podmatch helps you connect with guests and hosts who have similar interests, experiences, and goals, making sure that each connection is meaningful and impactful. Thanks to Podmatch, I've connected with parents and caregivers worldwide and supported them in sharing their stories on Quiet Connection. If you'd like to check them out, visit www.joinpodmatch.com/Quiet Connection Podcast and learn more. Welcome back to Quiet Connection, a podcast dedicated to ending the stigma around perinatal mental health. I'm Chelsea. Today, I'm joined by Adriana, a woman whose story is a powerful example of what it means to be a fighter. Adriana and I discuss the transition from a go-with-the-flow life to the high-stakes world of NICU stays and sudden medical emergencies. We dive deep into the reality of postpartum mental health crises and the moment she realized that fighting for her life meant asking for help, even when it felt like running away. This is an honest, vulnerable look at the biological and mental hurdles of motherhood, and I'm so grateful that Adriana is here to share it with us today. Let's jump in. Hello! Today, I am here with Adriana. Adriana, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am good. This is another one of those, it's been a long time coming. I feel like I say that a lot lately. I feel like I'm like, oh, and that recurring theme of podcasting is just scheduling and rescheduling and rescheduling. Well, Adriana, you stuck with me and I appreciate it, and I'm so thankful that you're here with me today. I almost said this morning. It's not the morning.
No, it's 1 p.m.
No,
Yeah.
Before we started recording, I was like, Adriana, hold on tight because I'm a little brain dead this morning, and it's not the
Yeah.
morning.
Same here. Yes.
Oops. Okay.
Yes.
Well, we're in this together. It is not the morning. It is the afternoon. We've got this. We've got this. What I would love is if you could introduce yourself to my listeners. Let us know who you are today and a little bit about who you were before you started your parenting journey.
Okay. So, today I am a mother of two, married, and a college student, and I am currently a stay-at-home mom. And I love it. If I could stay home, I would stay home forever, but I can't. Yes. I am married to my forever love. So we met when we were 15, and we're still married today. Before now, I was just living at home, living a very good, Latina life, I guess you could say. I come from a Catholic family, and we would go to Mexico every year and travel and just go to college. And then I stopped going to college for a while after I got married, and then I had kids, and then the life happens. And but yeah, I was just a very chill, normal girl, just living life, very calm, very go with the flow. And I just, I loved it. Everything was great.
Yeah. I love that I always love a good high school sweetheart story. Um, and that's amazing. You guys have been together for a really long time, and it sounds like you were kind of living your best life for a little while.
Yes. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Very, very good life. Yes.
Yeah. And it sounds like you had a really good village around you. You had your family that you could kind of rely on. Do you still consider yourself to have a good support network today?
Yes, yes. My support network has actually grown since I was young. I got married, and my husband comes from a very close knit family, and I have a really close knit family now. And so I have a really good village, behind me and around me, and I have really good friends that I've had since high school, and that I can call and text whenever I'm going through something, and they'll be there to pick me up and help me through it. And so, yeah, I have a really good village, and I did before and I still do now. So yeah.
I love it. I love it. I always ask about that because it does play into our parenting journey, right? Like, and we always hear about the village. And I do, like, I like to stress, and I'm sure we're going to get into it, but like, even if you have that village, it doesn't make you immune to
Right.
some of the curveballs that come up in the parenting journey.
Right.
I'm
Yes.
I'm curious before we dive into that, like, with 2 feet. Did you always envision yourself having children? Was that something that you pictured for yourself?
Yes, I've always wanted to be a mom. I've always wanted to get married in white and have the big wedding and then go to the honeymoon and then build the family, And yes, that was always my dream. I always, envisioned myself with 3 or 4 kids, and my husband was the same. He came from the same family values as I did, and so, yeah, kids were always in our plan, and so now that we have 2 kids now. I mean, now if I could, I would definitely have more, but, just life and everything I went through with these pregnancies, it's just not attainable for me anymore, but I mean, I love kids, my husband loves kids, and, I mean, our kids are our world right now, so yes.
Yeah. Yeah, every answer is so different, and like I said, like, it seems like such a mundane question, but it really tells me so much about your mindset when you headed into this journey.
Yes.
So let's get into it a little bit. When that journey started, what did that look like for you guys?
So we really wanted to enjoy our marriage before we started thinking about kids. We got married really young. I was 22, he was 23. We were fresh out of college. I still, hadn't graduated from college. I was still, trying to figure out my life and try to see where we were going to head, in what direction we were going to head into. And so we wanted to spend time alone, and then eventually we were like, you know what, let's start trying and see how it goes and see if we can get pregnant. But really fast came I came to realize that it was not easy for us. We tried and tried, I think, for about half a year, and nothing was happening, and, I went to go get myself checked, he got himself checked, and, the doctors couldn't tell us why we weren't getting pregnant. They just kept telling us, "We're healthy, we're young, we should be able to get pregnant, quickly." I was never on any kind of birth control, so that wasn't a factor that I was, worried about. So it just wasn't happening, and that's when I guess my anxiety started, and I started getting just looking up, googling everything, tracking my period, tracking my ovulation, tracking just every little thing that I can think of that could help us conceive, and following the pages of, TTC, and it was just a roller coaster of emotions going through that process of trying to get pregnant, and, eventually, we did get pregnant with my son, who is now 8. He was, conceived naturally and everything, and whenever I got pregnant with him, I was super happy, he was super happy as well, and we were just over the moon with this news, and I mean, it was such an amazing, pregnancy after that. I mean, no issues. And it was like, it just clicked for us and it was finally happening and no issues. The pregnancy was great. And it was just amazing, you know?
Yeah.
We were on cloud 9.
Yeah, of course. After trying for so long, and especially both of you had that dream and that goal, and yeah, and to hear that pregnancy was really smooth for you, like, yeah, who wouldn't be on cloud 9?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But,
So yeah,
yeah.
go ahead. Talk to me a little bit about, after or even the process of your son coming into the world.
I think I was probably about 8 months pregnant. I was around 30 weeks. that's when things kind of took a turn, and I started getting Braxton Hicks contractions, and I started swelling, and I started just being very tired, and it was just very unexpected since the previous weeks of the pregnancy were so great. I wasn't doing anything different at this time. I was working full time and just doing the normal wife duties at home, and so it just came out of nowhere. And then I had my baby shower, and after my baby shower 2 days later my water broke. So
Ooh.
I was 31 weeks pregnant, and my water broke. We immediately went to the hospital, and they confirmed they had, broken, and then my amniotic fluid was just flowing out, and they had to go ahead and admit me and start giving me all the, treatments for the baby to make sure he's developed okay, and in case he comes early, then we would, be okay with the treatments. And so really fast I started just panicking, and my anxiety was just over the roof. I couldn't think straight. It was just like everything was happening so fast, and my I didn't necessarily have a birth plan to begin with. I was just going with the flow with everything before that. But then to just suddenly go to the hospital, and now you're gonna have your baby, and now, he's gonna be premature, and he's gonna have to stay in the NICU, and just everybody just coming to me and telling me all of that was kind of just really sudden, and made me just I guess panic, because I know that was a plan, but not the plan I wanted.
Mhm.
So yeah, he was born early. I was 32 weeks with him. He was 3 pounds. When he was born, everything he was great. I mean, he breathed on his own, and he only stayed in the NICU for about 20 days. Um, no issues except just trying to gain weight, and he was a cesarean because he was breached. He was feet down, so they had to get him out quickly, and he was coming, and so I had to recover from the C-section, and then visiting him in the NICU, and he was here local because he wasn't so premature. So he was here local, and I could go see him every day. It was such a smooth process. Everybody at the hospital was so great. I was healing great. So then yeah, I mean, he came home, and then after he came home, it was like it shifted again. Like the s unexpected stuff like being a first-time mom, having a NICU baby, a premature baby that's really small. I just didn't know how to, I guess, navigate being a first-time mom and having a premature baby, and then, just having to deal with, I guess, expected but unexpected duties of a mother, and
Yeah.
probably also being sleep deprived also. I slowly started to get what they call the baby blues after he came home. I'm just randomly crying and feeling sad, and I couldn't explain why. And then very quickly though, I got through it, and I didn't even realize that that's what I had gone through until somebody explained it to me, that that's what it was called, that it was baby blues, and that it's completely normal for first-time mothers, and especially with mothers that go through the NICU process, and then have a cesarean, and have complications with their births. So yeah, that was something that I, went through with my first pregnancy. And I mean, it didn't last. After that, it was like it didn't even happen. It was like the light switch turned on, and it was like, okay, I know what to do. I can do this. Let's take care of this baby. And then we were a happy, go jolly family. Everything was back to normal.
My god. I mean, yeah, that's so much though, Adriana. Like, I
So
I
sorry.
I mean, no, 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 like, I get this wonderful vibe from you, and you've said it too. You're like, "Yeah, we just go with the flow," and, like, you're like, "I didn't really have a birth plan, but," you know, and but these things kept coming up for you that even if you didn't have a plan, it was certainly not what you expected. And
Yes, yes.
oh my goodness. So yeah, and to hear too, like that, like, right, you experienced the baby blues and you didn't really have any knowledge or background of what that was. But like you said, well, yeah, I got through it and I worked with it. Like, I'm not minimizing it at all. It's just you give off this aura of like, yep, that happened, and then we were okay. Like, that's wow. That's just wow. I'm speechless right now. um, did, did you have so you said you hadn't heard of the baby blues. Did you have any sort of background knowledge on, like, preeclampsia or, like, preterm birth or anything like that? Or was this all kind of, like, uncharted territory?
So I myself am a premature baby, so I had some knowledge of prematurity and, the NICU process and how many babies go into the NICU a year and stuff like that, but I never knew that, like, preeclampsia warnings or anything like that, or baby blues warnings, anything like that. I knew about postpartum depression, but
Mhm.
I never knew how it started or how you knew you were in it, until I was in it. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's something that, I mean, you hear about it with, mothers and stories and stuff, but you never realize how easy it is to get, once you are going through it. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, and it highlights just how common it is, right? And yeah, and like you said, like, how easy it is to just kind of fall into it without even realizing that that's where you were
Mhm.
at. And you said too, like, you kind of fell into a groove with your first, right? You finally got to a place where you felt like, "Okay, this is behind us."
Yes.
So was it with your second that things went a little bit differently?
Oh, yes, yes. So so I guess because of my first, the way everything came out with him, his birth story, and I guess I did what I became a little, I guess, traumatic when it came to birth and stuff like that. I didn't wanna experience that kind of birth again, and then having to go through the NICU again, I did not wanna experience that again. But I knew that now that I had a premature baby and that my water broke early, that I was in a higher risk of that happening again. We waited a while, to start trying again because I wanna let my body heal and I wanted my mind to heal. I wanted to enjoy my son and just enjoy our 3 little, um, group family for a little while before we started trying again. And then even the trying to conceive process gave me, post-traumatic stress. So,
Yeah.
even going through that, it in itself was, traumatic. So, I guess whenever we decided to, try again, and, it just was all starting to come back again, all those memories and the feelings of how I felt trying to conceive, and then those memories of my son being premature and being in the NICU, just all of that started coming back when we started trying again. So from the beginning, I already, was coming into the second pregnancy with anxiety and a lot of worry, just a lot of doubt. I didn't know if I was going to have another premature baby. I didn't know how this pregnancy was going to go, and sure enough, went the way I thought it was going to go. I don't know if it was because she was a girl, and I don't know if there's a difference between having boy pregnancies and girl pregnancies, but my pregnancy with her was horrible. I had
Mm.
morning sickness from the very first day I found out I was pregnant. It was just a horrible, horrible pregnancy. I was just always tired. My legs were always hurting. My back was always hurting. I couldn't even stand up from the bed. I was always, struggling. Even to eat, I would get full so fast. I didn't want to eat, and it was just a really, really bad pregnancy with her. And it could have been because of my C-section or something. I just, I kept trying to connect the dots. I became very type where I started researching everything, and everything had to be, in line with why I'm feeling this way. And so yeah, we struggled to get pregnant with her as well. It took us about a year or two to get pregnant with her. They could never tell us a reason. So that was already, gave me anxiety from the beginning. So with her, I I knew I was feeling, cruddy the whole time. So when I started getting preeclampsia symptoms, and I had never heard of preeclampsia before. I mean, I have heard it maybe just said somewhere, but I never knew what it was. I started getting really swollen feet, really swollen legs, headaches, lightheadedness, s- all of it. My I started getting like fast heart rate and stuff, and I guess that's from the blood pressure. So yeah, I knew I felt like bad, but I didn't realize how bad it was because I was feeling bad the whole time during the pregnancy.
Mhm.
So it was really hard to distinguish what was really bad and what wasn't. So I I we also had our baby shower with her, and at the baby shower, I remember feeling I just couldn't walk, I couldn't think, I was very tired. I think, I look back at those photos now and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I remember feeling what I was feeling when I look at those photos."
Yeah.
But yeah, I went to the hospital that night because my blood pressure had spiked, and the way I found that out was because I was just feeling really tired, really lightheaded, and, like, fainting, like I wanted to faint.
Yeah.
Um
Wow.
so yeah, they had me admitted. My blood pressure was really high. They started me on magnesium, the magnesium drip immediately. I never heard of that, so that was something
Yeah.
scary in its own. Um, they told
And
me I
that's
had
an
severe preeclampsia.
experience.
Oh yes, it was a wild experience.
Yeah.
um, and then, at at this point, I was 28 weeks pregnant, so I was a lot earlier than with my son. So that made me even more scared because I didn't know how she was, and if she was delivered, how she would be. So that was very terrifying. The plan was to keep me on bed rest for, to see if my preeclampsia symptoms could, go away for a little while, but it just kept getting worse from there. So they had to send me to the city, which is about an hour away, and to another hospital that could, specialize in micro preemies, which was my
Mhm.
daughter. So that was an experience as well, as I had to I mean, I saw so many different doctors. I don't even remember exactly who delivered my baby until I saw the pictures because it was just so many providers, like, on top of
My
me, and
goodness.
trying to figure out what was going on and make sure I was okay, the baby was okay, and it was just a lot of stuff going on all at the same time. So yeah, whenever she was born, she went straight to the NICU, and for anybody that's, a NICU parent, they know that's traumatizing when you don't get to hold your baby, and they have to immediately put them on, the CPAP machine, and give them air and stuff, and it's very hard. And I remember I didn't get to hold her until probably this after 7 days that she was born. Because at that point, I was still very, very out of it from the magnesium and from all the treatments, and I couldn't walk. She was born cesarean as well, so I couldn't walk, and my legs were balloons, so I couldn't even, like, it was just horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's validating too, like this whole experience up to this point, you had such anxiety. You didn't get a moment to enjoy the pregnancy. Even like
Right.
going into trying to conceive was a challenge. And then I can't begin to imagine like when you're in a situation where you've been dealing with these fears for so long and then they kind of happen? And what was going through
Yeah.
your mind in that moment? Also, the timeline seems so quick. Like it's like your baby shower, you didn't feel good, you got checked out, and then baby came?
Yes.
Like, was this all within like a day or two?
Right. So my baby shower happened. I got admitted that night of the baby shower. My preeclampsia was just getting severe, so they delivered her 2 or 3 days after I was
Okay.
admitted. It happened really quickly. Yeah. I it's
Yeah.
like I remember the providers telling me what was going on, but at the moment I was like in a daze. It was like I wasn't in reality anymore because I could not focus. I could not I mean, all I wanted was my baby to be okay and for me to be okay, and that was it. Just keep us alive and do what you gotta do and just keep us alive. And,
Yeah.
so yeah, it happened very quickly. So the 3rd day after the baby shower, they delivered her, and then 7 days after that, I got to hold her, which I got to see her right away, but, I remember just I couldn't really visit her in the NICU before the 7th day because I remember they were, giving me blood pressure medication, just trying to, control my blood pressure, and it was, just trying to get myself stable. I remember my husband going up to the NICU to see her as much as he could, and he would, take videos and pictures of her so he could show me. And I remember going up one night to go see her and just not being able to even stand up, from the chair to look at her through the incubator and just having to go back to my room because I just could not I was just not in the right mind and not physically able to be with her. So
Yeah.
so it was very hard. And then I guess that's when I didn't realize I thought these were preeclampsia symptoms where my heart would be racing. I would wake up in a sweat. I couldn't even sleep, but I would, roll out of the hospital bed in a sweat, and then I'd call the nurse and be like, "I'm not feeling good. My heart is beating really fast." And they would tell me, "You're fine. Your blood pressure's high, but you're okay." And then that's when they started telling me that they would check me with the, EKG machine and, make sure nothing else was going on. They would send me to go get, tests, like MRIs and CT scans,
Mm.
and they would see that everything was normal, everything was fine. They couldn't figure out why my hearts were racing and why I was feeling the way I was until I think a psychiatrist came to my room and, started telling me that they were gonna put me on some calming medications and, some anxiety medications. That's when it clicked that it was probably all, in my head, probably, just something mental going on instead of physically, but I physically felt horrible, so I was just
Mhm.
trying to tell them, "Hey, I'm not okay, something's going on. Is it the preeclampsia or what is it?" It all happened very quickly, and, I think after a couple of weeks of going through all of that, my daughter was still in the NICU. We were an hour away from her from the hospital, and so we would go as much as we could to go visit, but I was still feeling, everything that I was feeling when I delivered her, so it was really hard for me to go as much as I wanted to. And then I guess it just happened very quickly too that, I started feeling like I wasn't myself and having panic attacks like crazy and waking up in sweats, waking up like my heart was about to jump out of my chest, like it was so weird. I mean, Chelsea, is like you're not
Yeah.
yourself anymore.
Yes. I know,
You're
I'm
not
hearing you
yourself.
talk about it, I'm hearing you talk about it, and I'm like, especially when you said at first, like, well, and then I was like, I guess it's in my head, and I'm like, just because it's in your head doesn't mean it's not in your body either, right? Like, I
Right.
remember those feelings. I remember the feelings of feeling like I was having a heart attack or feeling like I can't eat because I'm so nauseous because I'm so scared or waking up in a sweat. Like, it is insane what your
Mhm.
mental health can do to your body.
Yes.
And that's not even touching on the fact that you just went through like another major surgery. This is your second cesarean section. You had like severe preeclampsia, and from what it sounds like, postpartum preeclampsia. Yeah, you were dealing with a lot. And I'm curious too, like, did you have any prior history of any sort of mental health challenges, or like, had you ever experienced a panic attack before?
No, never in my life. So I had no idea what that was going on with me, and I that didn't even come to my mind when I was experiencing these physical things, and so I had no idea that that was going on. So after I remember not wanting to leave the hospital because I kept telling them something's wrong with me, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, you gotta go home. You're fine. We did everything we could for you. So I remember going home and I was just so scared, and that, that fear of not knowing what's gonna happen is very scary. And I remember when I was home the first night, I started feeling like I felt at the hospital where my heart was racing. I wanted to like crawl out of my body. I was like so jittery and just I couldn't control it. And then that's when my husband was, he's like, you're probably having a panic attack. Just try to calm down, just breathe. And then I guess knowing that's what it was a little bit of relief. But at the same time, I was like, "Okay, how do I get rid of this?" Like, I don't wanna feel this,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Like, okay. So, like, I would be okay for a day, and then the next day, I would feel that way again, and then it was just a constant having to go back to that feeling, and then not having my baby with me was also, adding to that factor. And then I guess all the hormone stuff that postpartum women go through was also a factor. It kind of built up. I remember after a month of feeling that way, and it was just like a never-ending, you know, nightmare of feeling that way. And I remember that's when it just was like, okay, I don't know if I can keep doing this. Like, if this is how it's gonna be every time I wake up, I don't know if I can do this anymore. So then that's when I started getting like the suicidal thoughts, and not wanting to wake up the next day, and I didn't want to keep living that way. So then I was like, okay, well, what, like, I never really had a plan or anything like that, but it was like, okay, what can I do so my family can be okay, but I can stop feeling this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and so yeah, that's when I told my family. I opened up to my husband that I was feeling this way, and at the time I believe we were staying with his mother. My mother-in-law was letting us stay at her house. That way she could help me, with the recovery and visiting my baby in the hospital and stuff like that. So that's when I let them know that I was feeling this way and that I need to go get help. And
Yeah.
I didn't know what kind of help that was, but I didn't want to, you know, keep feeling this way and not do anything. I told them to take me to the hospital, and they did, and they, they were really understanding, and they let me go, and I remember telling them that what I was going through and what I was thinking and where my mind was. They decided to hospitalize me, and so then that's when I got hospitalized. I just wanted anything, like just some kind of help, just anything that would help. So yeah, and then my first hospitalization was only about a week, and
Okay.
that's a whole nother story on its own. But
Yeah. I'm currently
yeah.
doing a series about my hospitalizations, and I can tell you no two are the same.
No, no, no. So
No.
I say that was my first because I after I was hospitalized, I came back and nothing had changed. I was still
Mhm.
feeling the same. So then I came back. I begged to go to the hospital again, and that way I could try to get hospitalized again and see if somebody else could help me and try to find something somewhere that somebody could help. And I begged for them to let me stay local this time. That way my husband could come see me and I could feel like I'm closer to my family. And the only local place that is in my town is more of like a detox center. It's not really a
Mhm.
mental health crisis center. So that wasn't working for me. And I remember just I was admitted, but then I only stayed for a day or two, and then I requested to get out of there. After I got out of there, I think I stayed home for a couple of months. The doctors at this last place, the doctors at the first place put me on some medications, and then the doctors at the second place also switched my medications, and then I wanted to give the medication some time to work, as they told me it would take 3 or 4 weeks, probably more, to start working. This time I'd held on a little longer to try to see if the medication would help me feel a little better, and it did. I was good. At this point, my daughter was still in the hospital. She stayed in the NICU for 3 months. I remember in August, specifically, feeling the best. I felt amazing, I felt calm, I understood where she was and where she needed to be, and I understood that I was still healing, and I had accepted what had happened with the birth and everything, and so I was a lot calmer. I remember feeling the best during that time. But then something happened at the hospital where my baby stopped breathing, and they called me at 5 in the morning, and I wasn't there, and that's when it all went downhill again. And I started, getting
Yeah.
panic attacks and, freaking out, and I remember just all of it, all the bad waves came back crashing on me again. And yeah, so it was, I think, like that for a couple of weeks, and then she came home, which, I was, like, so happy about. She was finally coming home. Was this finally gonna be over? Like, we were both gonna be together, and it wasn't gonna be like with my son where he came home and then all of a sudden I felt great? But
Yeah, like the
then
light switch that you were waiting for.
yeah. Yes, the light switch. I was waiting for that light switch, and she came home on an NG tube because she, was having trouble feeding, and she had a lot of doctor's appointments to follow up with because of her prematurity, and, so she had a lot more things that we had to medically take care of with her. I remember after a week or a few days after she came home, I was still feeling the same way that I was feeling when she was at the hospital, and I remember thinking to myself, "Why am I still feeling this way? Like, she's home now, everything should be good now, like, I'm still healing, but I know I can do this, and I have a lot of family around me that can help me." So I didn't know what was going on. So at my second, hospitalization, they told me that I had postpartum depression, anxiety, and PTSD. So at this point, I knew that I had that, but I was healing. But when she came home, those, especially the suicidal thoughts, I guess, got worse. Maybe it was also the sleep deprivation, that also was a factor in this, but I also started, like, seeing things and hearing things, and then I was just like, "Okay, this is not what they told me I had, and then this is not something I've experienced so far, so what's going on?" And then that's when I started, like, thoughts in my head would start telling me that, "Okay, you're not safe, your baby is not safe, like, you need to get help again." So, I don't know,
Yeah.
it was a very drastic difference from when she was in the hospital and from when she got out. I remember thinking, "Okay, I can't live like this, I can't do this," and that's when I had my breaking point. I had my breaking point. I remember telling my family, like, "I'm done, I'm tired, I can't do this, I don't know what's going on, I'm not okay." And my family, because it was, going on for several months and several weeks, they kept telling me, "You're fine, you're okay," like, they kept trying to snap me out of it, but I just was not snapping out of it, and, that's when I was like, "Okay, I don't if you guys won't help me, I'm just gonna take this matter into my own hands and do something." And it wasn't like me trying to, like, blackmail anybody or anything like that, but it was just kinda like me just trying to get myself out of this. At this point, I didn't have, like, any consideration for anybody but myself. That was probably the worst that I got, and I remember begging my family to take me to the hospital again. I just wanted something to help me, just anything. I think when you're going through something like that, you just want anything to work, anything that can help you feel better. It doesn't matter what it is,
Yeah.
and I remember
You
telling
want it
them, "Take."
taken out of your hands, right?
Yes.
Like, you want
Yes,
it
of
just to
course.
give it to somebody else.
Yes, yes. Get it out, take it off my hands and you fix me, and something needs to fix me. And I remember, my family was, they didn't quite understand what I was exactly going through, and so they had a hard time with having to send me away again. So I wanted to be hospitalized because I was like, "You know what? I can't be here. I don't want my kids to see me this way. I need to get away." And for them, it was like I was kind of running away from it instead of trying to, you
Mm.
know, fight it, head on. And well, I guess in a sense I was trying to run away from it, I was trying to run away from the feeling, from all of it. So yeah, that's the last time I was hospitalized. I was hospitalized again for that time, and at that time, I was whatever it took, I just wanted this to get better. So I didn't care how long it took. I didn't care how long I was away from my kids, from my baby that just got home from the hospital. I mean, it's really, scary and sad to say, but that's how I felt at the time. I just had to put myself first, just
Yeah.
worry about myself. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I got the help I, desperately wanted. It was at this last hospitalization that I got a really good psychiatrist doctor that told me that all of this that I was going through was normal and that it's biological, that I did, everything that happened from the point that from the pregnancy, from the delivery, from her being in the NICU, from me going through the postpartum, all of it was validated for me. And I finally felt like somebody understood. And and then that's when I could start healing and accepting everything that happened. So yeah, I remember that was the last time that I got hospitalized and I came home, and after I came home, I felt I did it did still take me a while to accept it and try to, go through it and fight it, but eventually I did, and that's, it was a happy ending.
Yeah, but so, like, several things that you said stick out to me, and the first thing that I wanna address too is, like, when you said, like, "I guess I was trying to run away from it," and your family was saying, like, why don't you wanna stay here and fight?" The first thought that came to my mind was, "You are fighting. You're fighting for your life." And, for somebody who's never experienced a mental health crisis, whether it be perinatal mental health or just mental health in general, I think it's really hard to be able to understand that while it appears that we're giving up, and it kind of
Right.
almost feels like that to us too, right? Like those moments
Yeah.
of, I wanna fall asleep and not wake up. I can't do this anymore. The fact that you voiced that to your husband and to your family, the fact that you spoke those words out loud, the fact that you fought so hard to be hospitalized and to receive treatment, 1, shouldn't have had to get to that point. We hope that it doesn't get to that point for many people. But 2, that was you fighting as hard as you could fight to stay.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And that was really hard for me at the time because it felt like they kept fighting me and my husband didn't wanna take me to the hospital. He didn't want me to go get locked away, and he knew that that wasn't gonna help me, so he wanted to do everything he could to help me, and I remember just thinking, like, "You can't help me. I need somebody else. I need something else. I don't know what it is, but I need the help." And that was for him, it was like me giving up, but no, it was me fighting for an answer, fighting for a treatment, fighting for validation, just, fighting for somebody to understand. Now going back and thinking of that time, like, a little bit a part of me, does get mad at myself because 'cause I'm like, "Okay, I was giving up," I blame myself for not fighting harder, but I try not to, go back and think like, "What if? What could've?" But I was fighting the best I could, and I was,
Yeah.
doing what I thought what was best for me at the time was to go away and to get better and to, fight for my baby that needed me, so yeah.
Yeah. I don't um I feel like I'm saying this more and more often lately. I don't like to insert myself or my experiences because this is about you and your experience, but what you're speaking on resonates so deeply with me, and I know you know this. I know we've talked about this like um
Yeah.
online when off of the podcast, but there is I think like I said, it's very, very challenging, especially for our partners to kind of understand, especially if you have a partner who's a fixer, like my partner is, right? Like your husband was like, no, I can help you through this. I can do this.
Yes.
And my husband was the same way. Like, we can do this. We got this. It'll be like inpatient at home and it'll be fine.
Mhm.
And at that, when you're in that place, you are so far removed from yourself and
Mhm.
and again, if this resonates with you or if it doesn't, you can let me know, but for me, it was really like somebody else a trained professional needs to take control. I don't have control over
Right.
myself anymore. I can't
Right,
have control
exactly.
over myself anymore.
Exactly, yes, that's how
Yeah.
I felt exactly. Mhm. I remember my husband telling me that, you know, all I like he felt like all I wanted was medication and, just, like, another way out and stuff like that, but I was, like, telling him, I'm like, "No, I just need somebody that is experienced in this, and knows what to do and deal with this kinda situation, because at this moment, I am not me. My brain is not me, like, I don't know who this is. I can't tell you what to do to help fix me because I don't know what to do either. And so for him, it was very frustrating. And I remember just telling him, I'm sorry. I don't know what else to do. I'm just sorry. And he felt defeated. He felt like I gave up as a mom and on our relationship and that I was, leaving him and the family. I never once asked or, related to see how he was feeling through all of this. And so it was a very hard challenge. And I mean, we're still healing from that journey. But yeah, you don't know what you're gonna do until you're in that position. So yeah, it was really hard.
I mean, yeah, it speaks to your relationship. It speaks to yes, it's gonna be a challenge but you guys are dedicated to figuring this out and navigating this together. I'm curious to know a little bit more too, like when you did finally get that validation, when you did finally have someone say to you like, "Yes, this is a thing. This is really common and we're going to get you through this." Did you believe them at the time or did it take like I have to see it before I'm really going to believe it?
I I actually did believe them, and it might be because that's my personality. I trust the professionals, and I wholeheartedly know, that, if they're in this field that they, care about the patient and they want the best for the patient, so they're not gonna lie, and, I want to always believe the that something good is gonna happen. So, yeah, I did wholeheartedly believe what they said to me, and I knew they were gonna fix me, and when I didn't doubt it until obviously, after a while, coming home, I would get those occasional panic attacks, and then I would try to, fight through them and try to, not put my mind in that place anymore. But yeah, it was if it was a doubt, it was only a small doubt, and I always believed and wanted to believe that I would get out of this and I would get through this, and I think that that is very important as when someone's going through that, is to give them that hope, because it is not the end, and it's not going to always be like this. And now, after a couple months and years of, going through that, I wish I could go back and tell myself, hey, you did get through this. The doctors were right. It takes time, and only time can heal, but we will get through it, and we did. And I think everyone needs that hope that they will be okay.
And that is a really common thread with a lot of us who have experienced this kind of thing. Like wishing we could go back and just hold ourselves a little bit and just be like, okay,
Yes.
I know this feels like the end, but it's not the end. And you mentioning too, like it takes time. And when you're in it, that is the hardest thing to hear and to accept. It's like, time, I don't
Yes.
have time. I've got 2 kids. I can't feel like this every day. But you're
Right.
right, it takes
Mhm.
time. From where you were then to where you are now, how would you say you feel about your mental health today? And have you developed any, like, coping skills for when maybe those feelings creep in again?
Um, so what would I say? My mental health now is a lot better, now that I have my daughter here and I have her home, and I've learned to accept my story and what happened, and that's big in itself, is accepting what happened, because for a while I didn't. I was so angry and just so mad with the world, so mad with God, and for making me go through this. And so accepting was a big step that I took in my healing journey. So now my mental health is, I do not get those panic attacks like I did. If something were to happen again where it's out of my control, I think I would take a step back and try to reflect on how we can get through this. And because now I'm a very type A person, I want to be in control of everything. um, if it's out of my control, I try to just tell myself, and just be kind to myself and tell myself that, some things are out of your control, and that's just life, and just try to accept those facts. So my coping mechanisms now is just to take a breather, go outside, go get in the sun. I love the sunlight. I should be a lizard because I love laying out in the sun, and taking walks. Definitely just stuff like that that helps you calm yourself down when a crisis is happening, is what I try to do now. Because yeah, there are always going to be stuff that is out of your control, and I guess when I was going through all of that stuff, it helped me realize that fact, when before I never had something like that happen. So now that I've had some life experience and, gone through that, I think it has definitely helped me, and I am a lot calmer now. I try and be kind to myself. Always be kind to yourself and to the situation, because what could be wrong today is not what's gonna be wrong tomorrow, and that's what I just try to, keep telling myself, and tell myself I'm okay, and then just, hug my kids. That's always a great coping mechanism for myself, is just smell them, hug them, kiss them. That's how it is now.
I love the energy that you kind of bring to this whole experience, in that it's something that happened. It was out of your control, but it doesn't define you. And you even said at the time, right? Like when you were experiencing those things, that's not me. That's not who I am. And the person that I see in front of me and the person that I finally got to meet today is a freaking fighter. And you fought against things that are constantly telling you to give up. They're constantly telling you you can't do this anymore. But you did keep fighting back. And all of that doesn't even take into account that you had 2 children at the time, 2 children that had very unique needs. One child was in the NICU at the time. So you were up against incredible odds, and I just wanna tell you, I am so grateful you stayed. I am so grateful that you did keep pushing until you got the help that you needed. I'm grateful that you didn't give up on yourself, and you didn't give up on your family. You did. You fought, and you clawed, and you scratched, and I'm so thankful that I'm here talking to you today.
Thank you, thank you. You're gonna make me cry. But yes,
Well,
I
I'm not I don't wanna make you cry. I think this is hitting me especially hard because, again, every person, I say we may have experienced the same storm, but we're all in different boats. So, I'm not gonna compare my story to your story to the next person's story. Everybody's story is unique, but I do know that feeling, that darkness, that all-consuming darkness, and I know how hard it is to not stay there and to fight back. So, I just wanna say, like, from one fighter to another, like, I see you. I see you, and I'm so glad that you're here.
Yes, thank you. I'm so glad as well.
I don't even know what to say. I
Right. No, no worries.
um,
Yes, yeah, if I could go back and tell myself anything, it'd be to, just keep fighting and to hold on to that boat and to not slip because it's so easy to slip away, and I almost did, and it is a very scary place to be in, and so it is a very challenging and hard, thing to go through, but there is light at the end of it.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your experience so honestly and so vulnerably and for allowing me to share space with you through that. I know, like I said, we've like chatted here and there over the months, but to be able to sit with you and hear it in your own words, yeah, it deeply, deeply resonated with me. And I know it's going to resonate with so many other people out there who have been there and who have experienced this. If my listeners want to know more about you and your journey, is there a place that they can look for you?
Yes, I'm active on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. I actually posted a little bit of my story on my TikTok for anybody that wants to see like pictures and an inside view of what that looked like. They could go on my TikTok and look at that. But I'm always available to talk and to share, insights of how I, got through my experience and I'm always willing to listen to others and help other mothers that are going through the thick of it. And I completely want mothers to feel like they're being seen and heard and understood and validated because that's what I needed when I was going through all of that. So yeah, I'm available through Facebook, Adriana Sanchez, and I don't know my Instagram handle right off the top of my head, but yeah.
That's okay.
But yes, I'm always
We'll get all that and
yeah.
we'll link it in the show notes. So listeners,
Okay.
check the show notes and it'll lead you right to Adriana. Yeah, I'm also grateful that you are willing to connect with other parents because like you said, we all just want to be heard and seen and validated. Um in
Yes.
that vein, I am doing this new kind of experiment thing. It's not so new now. I've been doing it for a little while, but the episodes haven't come out yet, so you haven't heard it yet. Um
Okay.
I am I'm doing this thing where I'm asking my guests to you got to think back to the days before cell phones and text messages and everything, where we weren't always reachable, where you couldn't just like get a hold of somebody all the time. And when you called and the person didn't answer, you had to leave a message. So you don't know who my next guest is going to be. You don't know if they're a mom. You don't know if they're a dad. You don't know who they are or what their experience is. But you called Quiet Connection today and they weren't here to answer. So I'd love it if you could leave a message for them, and it can be any message you want. It could be a message about you and your story. It could be a message of affirmation. It can be just something you heard that felt good at the time. But what message would you leave for my next guest?
The message that I would leave would be to hold on and to know that everything will be okay. Because when I was going through my darkness, I just needed somebody to tell me that everything's gonna be okay, and that I'm safe, and that I'm in good hands, and you're loved. And that's what I want the next person to know, is that no matter what they're going through, no matter how dark and scary it might feel at the moment, there is light and there is hope. And I just want you to hold on and fight, and even if that fight is just wake up one day and take a nap and do the best you can, that's good enough. That's the best you can do, and that's the greatest thing that you can do. So just, know that you're loved, you're cared for, and we want you here. So yeah.
I think that is a beautiful message. I think there are so many people that need to hear it. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for leaving that message for my next guest. Adriana, it has been a joy getting to share space with you today. You are a fighter, you are a warrior, and just thank you for sharing your story with me.
Thank you for listening and having me on here. I cannot, thank you enough for hearing me out and sharing this podcast with so many moms. And your podcast was one of the things that, helped me get through my darkness. So yeah, thank you so much for everything that you do.
My goodness. Now you're going to make me cry. Thank you so much for sharing your journey so honestly and vulnerably with me, Adriana. Your journey reminds us that even when we feel far removed from ourselves, there is a path back toward the light. You can find Adriana on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to see more of her journey, so make sure to check the show notes for those links. And be sure you're following Quiet Connection Podcast on all social media platforms for more updates and community support. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with a friend or another parent who might need to hear Adriana's message of hope today. Your story matters. If you're ready to share your own journey, you can reach out to us through quietconnectionpodcast.com or by email at chelsea@quietconnectionpodcast.com. You can share on the podcast or through our new written features. We would love to hold space for you. Join us next time when another story is told and you realize you are not alone. I see you. Hey, it's Chelsea. I just wanted to take a moment to thank you for tuning in and being a part of the Quiet Connection community. Did you know that you can support me and gain exclusive perks by subscribing to my Patreon account? By becoming a subscriber, you'll get access to bonus episodes, ad-free listening, exclusive chats, and even monthly goodies in the mail handmade by me. Your support helps me continue creating high-quality content and ensures that we keep spreading awareness and ending the stigma surrounding perinatal mood and anxiety disorders and so much more. Head on over to Patreon, search Quiet Connection Podcast, and join the community of listeners who are helping me make this podcast the best it can be.